Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Black Clover. Last time around, what was it called? Crazy Magic Battle. That was it. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, we met Henry, the secret member of the Black Bulls who basically owned the hideout. It was his place, and his magic was infused in it. And he had a special condition where he was very weak, very bedridden, but basically the closer you get to him, the more magic gets sucked into him. And actually, because of that, because the Black Bulls had lived there so long, they gave him enough magic to walk around a bit and to control the entire hideout. And yeah, they beat up Sally and Rhodes and stuff. However, they did manage to get the magic stone that was in the Black Bull's hideout and escape and bring it back to Licht. And now he has a new mission, which is to go find the other two stones, which are currently being held by the Wizard King, by Julius. So he's got his work cut out for him, definitely. But yeah, that is pretty much where we left off. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Black Clover. Here we go. Okay, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. I feel like it has to happen, right? There has to be something that is going to come in and help Raia, and then it's going to be not so much of a one-sided fight. Because if not, I'm going to be honest, that'd be really funny if it didn't. If he just died here, like, okay, if he dies here and then something else is in the base and then it, there's some sort of monster or something and it gets up and they have a hard time against that. That's a different thing, But if something like comes in and saves him, and then he starts talking about, he starts like putting him down like, oh, wow, guess you're not that good after the, motherfucker, you get your ass beat. It is remarkable. Like, boy, we've really just been getting like diminishing returns on the third eye, It's like Veto was such a powerhouse. Then you had Fauna, who was the less, different ways. And then now you have Raia, and he's just not. But then again, that is absolutely because of who's facing them, Because with Veto, it was mostly Asta, It was Asta and Vanessa and Finral, and a little bit of support from Noelle. That was the all hands on deck fight, basically, And that's the thing, and it's just, it's so funny. So there's that, but then, when he was getting all his amazing power to destroy everything, then Yami comes in and just wipes the fucking floor with him, Then we had Fauna, who was definitely a threat, don't get me wrong. But even then, it's like, well, I guess, see, it's different because we didn't even, we fought Fauna, but at the same time, it was more to, break the brainwashing on her and bring her back to the Fauna that Mars knew, So it wasn't really a defeating her in the sense of combat, And now we have Raia. Now we have Raia, who's just getting his anus kicked at every moment, and I fucking love that. I love that so much. That's one of my favorite things now. This is now one of my favorite episodes of this show, is watching Raia getting his ass kicked by Mereoleona. That was so good. I love that. I love that so much. Especially, too, because, the way they show him originally is, we see him, he's like, all right, I guess I gotta go take care of business. And you see he already has his third eye unlocked, Whereas Veto and Fauna had to be pushed to their absolute limit to unlock their third eye. He can just do that at will. And yet, he is no threat to her whatsoever. It is ridiculous. ridiculous how powerful she is. But that's just who she is. She's just that fucking strong. You know? She's just that strong. And I love that too, that it's just like, how did she get that strong? She went out in nature. Dude, she touched grass, you know? She touched grass more than probably anybody in the Magic Knights, you know? She went and touched grass, and that made her so powerful. I like that, though, too, where it's just like, yeah, because she was within the mana of nature, it, like, cultivated her power in a different way to everyone else. And it's like, what an interesting idea, you know? I mean, she literally just, you know, went and trained in the mountains, and now she's here to fuck people up, you know? That's really what it is, and it's, I don't know, it's funny. It's really, really interesting. So yeah, what a very interesting thing. And then the fact that she has the Mana Zone ability, you know? Which maybe you could make a correlation with, because they say that Yuno has that too. Yuno has the Mana Zone ability as well. Honestly, is that just from living out in the sticks? Are they... Maybe that's the thing, is that they're countering it, like, they're juxtaposing it with all the other Magic Knights who are royalty or nobility who stay in the capital and don't really go out and train, or they stay in major cities. Whereas Mereoleona went out into nature, you know, she's eating boar meat and stuff, you know? She went out into nature. I mean, Yuno practically was in nature. I mean, yeah, he lived under a roof. He lived in a church, but I mean, a lot of it, yeah, he was out in nature a lot. Like, at any time he and Asta went to train, they went training in the forest, you know? So, maybe that's it, you know? And Asta would have this too, if he had magic. That's the thing about him, you know? But man, this is crazy. And so yeah, Mana Zone just lets you take control of the mana of an area, and it just superpowers you to no end. It's like ridiculous. And it's just like, oh yes, and then you can use the mana of the area to attack, you know, your enemy from all sides. Like, this is a domain expansion. This is a domain expansion, 100%. Like, I know what this is. I've seen this before. This is absolutely a domain expansion. It makes a little bit more sense than how domain expansions work. Like, they're not super confusing, but they are just kind of a, like, oh, here's a thing that we can do. And it's like, oh, okay, sure. Whereas here, it's like, well, this is tied into mana and everything, and, you know, the mana of an area, which we already know about. So it's just like, this one makes a little bit more sense, but yeah, this is a domain expansion, just through and through, and that's fine. That's great. Love it. It's great that we can take a concept like domain expansion and put it into a good show. So, this is great. This is so great. And it's so funny, too. And it's like, honestly, you know, I love, too, that it's just like, the spells that she is using, which is really just like, put mana into fist, punch using fire, you know? Like, I like how they mention how simple that is, you know? But it's just like, good, actually. You know what? I'm gonna put it out there. This is gonna be the free run method of teaching. That's good. I think that's fine, you know? Because that means her simple fire magic has been fine-tuned, you know, over the course of many years. It's perfect. Meanwhile, Raia, they didn't bring this up, and I thought they would. But, you know, they bring up that the weakness of his copy magic is that he has to stop and switch to a new spell, and he can't use multiple spells at once. That's why he had to stop his invisibility to move on to the water javelin or whatever. I was thinking, though, that probably the other thing about his magic is, yes, he can copy magic, but has he mastered all of those spells, you know? Like, he copied Yami's Lightless Slash, you know? Dark Void, Lightless, Slash, or whatever. But they said it's just like, Mereoleona said it's like, oh, the idiot who uses this spell hits way harder than you. It's like, yeah, it's like these spells are strong because he is strong, but he hasn't mastered these spells. He's just using them, It would be like, I don't know, I was going to make like a car analogy. I don't know how well it works, but it would be like if, you put like a world-class, like one of the best racing drivers in the world into, your truck, or your, or some, whatever car, just, I don't know, a Honda Civic or just something. And it's just like, yeah, this guy is good. He's going to know how to drive your car really, really well. But you know the ins and outs of your car more than he does, You know exactly like how to get the air conditioner right, so you get the perfect amount of coolness, You know that the cup holders are a little jiggly or something, or you gotta like, sometimes your rear view camera is like kind of off, and you gotta like kind of go nudge it a little bit in order to get it back, Like, your car inside and out. And its limits and its strengths. Whereas that guy, he'll get into it, and he can do it really well. Even maybe better than you, but that's the thing. But then you take that world-class driver, and you put that into another world-class driver's favorite car, and it's not going to be the same, Even if this guy maybe is a better race car driver than the other guy, that guy knows that car more. That's my analogy, I think, with Raia, where it's just like, yes, the way that he can use these spells is technically more powerful than most of the people that he copies, but he has not mastered any of these spells, Even though he can, do a lot, he can even copy the power of spirits, like he can copy the salamander, But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, you can't use this properly. I bet you if he copied Vanessa's grimoire, like, he could not, effectively use the fate spells like she can, So, and it's brought to a more, poignant point when he tries copying Asta's swords, and it's just like, no. All that gave you was the sword. You got a beat-up, dirty old sword, but you didn't get the anti-magic. Which makes sense, because how does magic copy anti-magic? That doesn't make any sense, so, yeah, you're not getting the anti-magic, It's like, they make it seem like it is going to be such a big thing. And I mean, it is. If Asta and Zora had to fight this guy, it would have been a long, arduous fight, and he would have been smug and just been like, "Oh, well, you guys are nothing." And then, you have to see Zora and Asta, really surpass their limits. Or Mereoleona could just beat the ever-loving shit out of him. And I love that we got the latter. That's so great. I love that so much. She's so cool. Oh my gosh. She's so cool. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know where we're going with this fight. Again, I am waiting for the penny to drop, I'm waiting for all of this to fall apart, and he gets some super cool power-up that lets him win the fight, and then it's a really long, arduous battle to try to defeat him and stuff. I'm waiting for that, but in the meantime, I'm just enjoying this dude getting the crap kicked out of him, Especially after that was a while ago now, but it's like, especially after the Veto arc, where it's just like, this dude is so cocky and he will not shut the fuck up, And it's just like, I'm glad that we just sort of got past all of that. And it's just like, let's just have a nice cathartic moment of beating this dude to smithereens, So yeah, that was fun. And now we have to see where we're going next time. But that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Black Clover reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.